Good evening. Welcome to the April 1st County Commissioner meeting. It's not an April Fool's joke either. I'd like to ask Commissioner Allman to do the invocation and the pledge, please.
Let's pray. Father God, thank you for this time that you've given us, Lord. Thank you for our county. Thank you for our citizens, Lord. Thank you for all the many blessings that you've bestowed on our county, God. I pray that the decisions that we make tonight, Lord, that they glorify you, that they be the best interests of our citizens in our county. And I just pray that you just rain down your blessings on us. I pray all this in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Commissioner Allman. Are there any changes or adjustments to the agenda? If not, we'll seek a motion to approve. Motion by Commissioner Morgan. Is there a second? Second by Commissioner Lawhon. All those in favor of approving the agenda, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, no. Motion carries 7-0. Item number 1 on our agenda tonight is a public hearing to consider a road naming or renaming. Mr. Curtis Melton's going to be our presenter.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Tonight I present to you for your consideration a proposal to name a new road. This road will be running off of Roland Road. We sent out letters on February the 7th to all property owners who own property abutting this proposed road. We received back 3 votes from February the 19th through the 21st. Those votes indicated various votes. The total tallied up for renaming the road, or correction, naming the road Marie Lane. We sent out a request for a public hearing on the 27th of February and published in SNAP on March the 3rd and posted signs in the courthouse, at the town hall, and at the premise there on, sent those signs out on March the 3rd. Any questions from the commission?
Any questions? All right. Thank you, Mr. Melton. We will go ahead and move to the public hearing portion.
Thank you.
I declare the public hearing open. Is there anybody here to speak for or against the renaming of this road? For or against? Seeing none, I'll close the public hearing. What's the pleasure of the board? A motion by Commissioner Jordan to adopt the name Marie Lane. Is there a second? Second by Commissioner Furr. Is there any other discussion? All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed, no. Motion carries 7-0. Item number 2 on the agenda tonight's proclamation for Public Health Week. Presenter is Miss Debbie Bennett.
My name is Debbie Bennett, and I serve the people of Stanley County as a public health educator at the Stanley County Health Department. It is my privilege to submit this resolution for your consideration tonight. Resolution acknowledging Public Health Week and the important role public health plays in the health and well-being of Stanley County and North Carolina citizens. Whereas the week of April 1, 2019 through April 7, 2019 is National Public Health Week. And whereas the public health system of North Carolina and Stanley County is an essential component in providing for the health and the well-being of all residents. And whereas the public health measures lead to the improvement of the quality of life for North Carolina and Stanley County residents. And whereas these public health measures include promoting healthy lifestyle practices, preventing substance misuse, preventing chronic diseases, controlling infectious diseases, addressing health disparities, preventing violence, promoting access to health care, improving the environment, and preparing for emergency events. And whereas efforts to support public health activities continue to transform a health system focused on treating illness to a health system focused on preventing disease and promoting wellness. Now therefore, be it resolved, the Stanley County Commissioners, 1, support the goals and ideals of National Public Health Week. 2, recognize the efforts of local, statewide, and national public health professionals in promoting quality of life as well as preventing disease and injury. 3, recognize the role of public health in improving the health of individuals in North Carolina and Stanley County. 4, encourage increased efforts and resources to improve the health of people in North Carolina and Stanley County. 5, encourage the people of Stanley County to learn about the role of the public health system in improving the health in Stanley County. Be it further resolved, the Stanley County Board of Commissioners do hereby proclaim April 1, 2019 through April 7, 2019 as Public Health Week in Stanley County.
Thank you, Ms. Bennett. That makes me want to be healthier just hearing you read,
Thank you.
just so I can live up to the standards of that. What is the pleasure of the board tonight?
Mr. Chairman.
Commissioner Furr?
I would like to make a move to go ahead and adopt April 1 through 7, 2019, make it Public Health Week.
A motion by Commissioner Furr. Is there a second? Second by Commissioner Allman. Is there any other discussion? All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed, no. Motion carries 7-0. We'll give you a signed copy to take back with you.
Thank you.
Item number 3 on the agenda is the Browns Hill Road Waterline Extension Project. Mr. Lucas.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, members of the board. You have in your packet the bid information for the Browns Hill Road waterline extension. This project's actually, there's already a project fund for this, for the design of this line, and so you would simply be amending the budget, which you see the budget amendment in there, amending the budget to add the cost of construction and the additional professional services for the oversight of that project by our engineer. The lowest responsive bidder came in at just under $862,000. All the bids are in the packet for your review. We did secure a $750,000 zero-interest loan from the North Carolina Electric Membership Co-op through Union Power. Still working through the details of that. There's some nuances. So in full transparency, depending on how the collateral works for that, we may or may not get acceptance from LGC for that loan. So we may have to come back and do general fund money for this project. But we're hoping that we can work through this with Union Power and the LGC. So the action we're requesting tonight is to approve the budget amendment to recognize the loan proceeds and the additional general fund appropriation required for the capital project. Authorize staff execute a contract with the lowest responsive bid utility contractor, Heron Industrial Incorporated, and improve a reimbursement resolution so the county can reimburse itself with the loan proceeds when the loan is approved by the LGC and closed in early to mid-May. Now, obviously, if there is no loan because we're not able to do that, we'll just simply come back and do another budget amendment and appropriate additional general fund money to finalize that road. But those are the 3 action items that we're seeking the board's approval tonight, and I'll be more than happy to answer any questions. You could do it all in one motion as long as the motion specifically addressed all 3 points, I would think.
Are there any questions for the county manager?
I've got one. Do we have any prospects of any companies coming to look at that property to develop it?
We do. I mean, we probably have, and Candace is in the audience, and she may be able to speak. My recollection serves me that we've got at least 3 active projects that we're working that piece of property. I also know there's been some interest in spec of the building out there on that property. You know, how far those folks would be willing to take it and what kind of incentives they would want to do the spec of the building, I'm not 100% sure. They haven't come forward with any proposal yet, but we've had some interest. But we do have 3 active projects, and I will say that we submit that industrial park on a lot of requests for information for projects. So if we didn't have that, we wouldn't be able to respond to a lot of projects just because that piece of property checks a lot of boxes in terms of proximity to interstate, proximity to the airport. And so, you know, and that was obviously one of the reasons why we purchased that piece of property is we needed product that gave us quicker access to I-485 and more convenient access to the airport. And so from an employment shed perspective, you think about all of Western Stanley and Eastern Stanley, plus Union and plus Cabarrus, if you draw a 30-mile loop around that people are willing to drive, I mean, there's a lot of folks who could potentially, so the business industry understands that they can easily recruit the type of employees they would need from that location. So the long and short answer to that question is we do have interest. Is there anyone who's chomping at the bit to build something tomorrow? No. But it's like anything else. You've got to build it, and it's got to be ready to mitigate the concerns that a potential project may have in terms of their timeline to get something built.
Any other questions for the county manager?
County Manager, what's the timeline to complete this?
I believe the project, so if we'll probably have from the point in time we authorize them tomorrow or sometime this week in order to do the notice to proceed. There's usually about a 30 to 45-day mobilization, and then you're looking at about 4 months for the water line extension to be fully complete. So you're probably looking at sometime late summer, early fall.
So if we didn't have this in place now and decided to later, following on to Commissioner Barbie's comment, then you're 6 months out from the time that you say go till it's done.
Yeah, and then at the same time, you're not going to know what your cost is at that time either. Cost could go up, cost could go down. I mean, so you'd have to bid the project again.
So we've got a current loan for $750,000. We may get, that would leave us $62,500 out of pocket. No,
162.
I'm sorry, 112.
Yes, yes, that's correct.
112,000 out of pocket.
Yep.
If we don't get approved for the loan, then we do the entire 862 out of pocket?
I would recommend that.
Our fund,
Out of fund
that was
balance.
going to be the question, is our fund balance, everything fine with that?
We are. I mean, you're in a position where you have roughly $5 million that you could appropriate and still be over 20% general fund balance. And so, yeah, I do believe your reserves are in a good place based on the board's prudent financial management in years past.
That's all the questions from you,
Anything else?
I have one, please.
Mr. Furr?
Mr. Lucas, on the good bit of difference between number 1 and number 2 as far as the low bid, is the low bid, are they capable of doing this and being on time?
I do believe so. According to our utilities director and our engineer, Heron does a lot of work in this space, and they're a very reputable utility contractor. And neither our engineer or our utilities director had any concerns with their ability to perform the work. And to be honest with you, that little over $100,000 difference really isn't that big of. They actually felt like these bids were fairly close together, and so to the lay person, it looks like a lot, but in that world, $100,000 or a little over $100,000 really wasn't. They didn't consider that a significant amount, but no issues or concerns from the engineer or our utilities director regarding the Heron's ability to perform the work.
Thank you.
Mr. Chairman, let me add to that. Heron is located right on the edge of Stanley County. I think it may be in Cabarrus County, but I mean, it's within a rock's throw of Stanley County. So I guess the best situation is you get a contract, the best situation is to get one that operates out of Stanley County, but we don't have that. The next best thing is to get Aaron, who does very good work. I'm familiar with the company. They're well qualified to do the work. And if they were just a little bit closer, we'd have them in Stanley County. But they're a good company.
Anything else?
Mr. Chairman,
Mr. Morgan?
I'd like to make a motion that we approve the budget amendment to recognize the loan proceeds and general fund appropriation, authorize staff to execute the contract with the lowest responsive bidder, and approve the reimbursement resolution so the county can reimburse itself with the $700,000 loan proceeds.
All right, a motion by Commissioner Morgan. Does everybody understand? He's including all three of the bullet points there. Is there a second? Second by Commissioner Jordan. Any other discussion? All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed, no. Motion carries 7-0. Item number 4 is the criteria to use design, build, construction as a delivery method for the 5th emergency radio tower. Again, the presenter is County Manager Lucas.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman and the members of the board. Per general statutes, we must pass criteria to justify the use of design-build method of construction contracts. Enclosed are the proposed criteria, and we've used these criteria for similar projects in the past, the EMS base, community college, cosmetology facility, the work at the Agri-Civic Center. And so, you know, a lot of respects, this really speeds up the time frame to get this done. I mean, we really want to move this project along so that we can address the issue in the eastern part of the county with the cell tower. The other piece of it is we really want that compatibility and standardization. And so there's only so many firms out there that can make sure and guarantee, this is our emergency radio system. We need to make sure it's got the highest integrity. And so we want to make sure that, you know, those firms, that we can look at their qualifications and make sure that the qualifications of the firm we're picking can match up with delivering on ensuring no standardization and conformity with our existing system. We certainly don't want a low bid type of situation where you're stuck with low bid and then, you know, they're not able to standardize and conform with our existing system, and then we have people pointing their fingers back and forth between, you know, this is the contractor's fault, no, it's Motorola's fault, it's this person's fault. So having this type of bid allows us to look at qualifications and make sure that we get a contractor who can do the project that can conform and standardize with us, as well as speed up the time frame for delivery of this project. So you're simply approving these criteria, and the amount that we estimate the budget will not exceed $1.35 million.
Any questions for the county manager? How do we wish to proceed?
Mr. Chairman,
Commissioner Morgan?
I'll make a motion that we adopt the design, build, construction, delivery method for the construction of the 5th emergency radio tower.
A motion by Commissioner Morgan. Is there a second? Second by Commissioner Lawhon. Any other discussion? All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? No. Motion carries 7-0. County Manager Lucas.
Wanted to also know, this is similar to the EMS base where they'll come back with, and we'll actually approve the contract too. So you haven't approved the contract, you just approved moving forward with the design build method. So just want to clarify.
Thank you. That brings us to item 5, the consent agenda. One item was just pointed out in the consent agenda minutes. Item 6, Commissioner Barbie was, I think, accidentally entered as recused from voting on the consent agenda, but he seconded the motion, so I think it was just a mistake in the new computer system we're using. With that correction, I would entertain a motion to approve the consent agenda as presented tonight. Motion by Commissioner Lawhon. Is there a second? Second by Commissioner Allman. Any discussion? All those in favor, please say aye. Any opposed, no. Motion carries 7-0. We didn't have anybody signed up for public comment. Does anybody wish to speak? Nope. All right, board member comments. We'll start with Commissioner Lawhon.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I don't know about the rest of the commissioners, but whoever did this publication, County Manager Lucas, you had a lot of good information in here. I don't know who helped put it together, but this is a very good piece for our citizens to read about what Stanley County government is doing. And lots of information. And I guess my question, will these be mailed out to all the citizens of Stanley County, or how will we distribute these?
The way we've distributed them, and I'll just say that Candace Moffett is actually the one that pulls all this information.
Good job.
Candace has been doing this ever since I got here. I think she actually even started doing it before I got here. So we've been doing these for, I think it's 15 years or so. The design's changed, and we actually contract with Meredith Smith out in Locust to help us with the design. All the department heads submit their information. Candace pulls it together. Her and I make some modifications to try to streamline some things and try to make it a little more easy on the eyes in terms of reader friendliness. And then Meredith puts her spin on it and helps with the design of it. But so that's how that works. And then they don't get mailed out to everyone. They are put in the paper. So everyone who gets the SNAP subscription gets the Saturday, Sunday SNAP this past weekend, got a copy. And then we also keep copies in the libraries, and we keep copies here for folks. And we also put it out online. It's on our website. It's on we push it out through social media, so folks can access it that way as well. But the cost, it would be, unless the board wants to enhance the budget, it would be cost prohibitive to mail it to all the folks. So we do it through the SNAP.
And I guess the EDC office has a stack of these. We do. Good. It's a very impressive paper, which brings me to the residential building permits, which lists the 3 years, 16, 17, and 18. It went from 198 to 257 to 271. Chris, I appreciate what you and your building inspectors are doing to keep that number growing. So thank y'all for that good number. And what's really interesting is the commercial new construction went from 17, in 2017 there were 88, but in 2018, 102. And commercial, those are big dollars in most cases, so that's a good indication of our local economy. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Lawhon. Commissioner Jordan?
I'd just like to say that I'd like to take a moment to thank you, Ms. Candace, because we all made the front page and didn't do anything wrong.
No numbers.
Is that it?
That's it.
Oh,
I do want to mention the picture that he was referring to. I thought my hair was black until I saw that picture.
Are these closing comments in general, or are we talking about this still? He's talking about this. These are closing comments.
yeah. I knew you had more.
Yeah, just for the general public that's paying attention to it, we are making headway with the Consolidated Human Services Agency project when it comes to home health and what we're going to do about that, what we're trying to do about that. We are trying to come up with a resolution in that department or that board, so when it comes to this board, we aren't spending another 2 months trying to figure out what to do. And so we've made some good strides. There is a special meeting this Wednesday at 4 p.m. for anybody that would like to attend. It's open to the public. I emailed you commissioners if you want to come. I think that's going to be informative. And that's it. Thank you.
I would, just real quick before Commissioner Barbie goes, only 3 of us can go, so 2 will actually be in attendance. So if somebody else wants to go, just coordinate, just send out an email that you're going. So.
I won't be able to go.
Okay. So 2 of you can go. So I won't be able to that afternoon, so.
I'm recording that day. We don't have the facility here to do it, but I'm taking my iPad and stuff because it is a very short notice session.
Okay. Thank you. Commissioner Barbie?
I just comment thanks for Commissioner Lawhorn and Mr. Jordan for what he's done. But I have nothing to say. Thank you.
Thank you. Commissioner Furr?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. It was my great pleasure today to take a picture of the side of a building and to take it and show it to one of our citizens that made him so proud. And that was on the Ralph McSwain on the side of the building. I don't know how much more proud a man could have been and how it made me feel for us to have done this for him. I want to thank all the board for what they've done, because you'll never know how proud it made him. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Furr. Commissioner Ullman?
I've just got two quick things. A few weeks ago, I went to appreciation luncheon for Safe Kids, Stanley County, and they put on the mock car crashes. Have you guys ever been to any of those? Highly recommend it. I think they did one at Greystone and did one at North Stanley this year, and trying to educate teens about not drinking and driving. And so I went to that, but while I was there, we were talking about the opioid issue at our last meeting, and I just want to remind everybody, there's 3 drop-off locations for, if you have excess medicine, and one's at the Albemarle Police Department, one's at the Oakboro Town Hall, and the other one is at the Norwood Police Department. Second thing, this past Saturday night, myself, Superior Court Judge Jeff Carpenter, District Court Judge Ty Vang, Wayne Sasser, and new Sheriff Jeff Crisco, we went down to First Baptist Indian Trail to the Safer Communities Ministry dinner. And they have a program where they go into the jail and they teach inmates life skills. And all the inmates who went through their program in Union County last year, there was a 100% success rate, so none of them returned back to the jail. So I'm really hoping that we can have discussions with Darrell Oliver, who's the director, and Sheriff Crisco, and possibly us about maybe trying to get that program implemented into our jail. So it's a good thing. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Ullman. Commissioner Morgan?
Okay.
All right, that brings me, I don't really have any comments tonight, so with that, we'll entertain a motion to go into closed session for economic development in accordance with General Statute 143-318.11A4. Is there a motion? Motion by Commissioner Lawhon. Is there a second? Second by Commissioner Barbie. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed, no. Motion carries 7-0.